Dawn is coming, reveal the mystery. Hidden warriors already to give a fatal blow. Observe the sums of time, guided by civilization. Light a beacon, spread the words. The world cries sounding from afar. Fire and sword piercing through. We'll never surrender. For our lives, for victory. From the King of Glory. The symbol, touch the sky. Together, are the champions. Without fear, climb the highest mountain. The way to glory is higher than the sky. The sail the world through the valley. And a hero that'll make history. Words will spread to kindness. Temple the God will walk up there. Battle be to legends never end. Swords come through the gates of hell. All will be ready. Unstoppable warriors, impeccable strategies. When the sharpest of blade are drawn, enemies will be confronted. Assemble for all glory. Fight to the top. Let world be my call. Storm is coming, reveal the mystery. Hidden warriors already to give a fatal blow. Observe the sums of time, guided by civilization. Light a beacon, spread the words. The world cries sounding from afar. Fire and sword piercing through. We'll never surrender. For our lives, for victory. From the King of Glory. The symbol, touch the sky. Together, are the champions. Without fear, climb the highest mountain. The way to glory is higher than the sky. The sail the world through the valley. And a hero that'll make history. Words will spread to kindness. Temple the God will walk up there.
Hello, Governors. Welcome to the 2023 Rise of Kingdoms Global Champions Grand Prix Semifinals. I'm your host, Plato Gaming, caster and content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and casting alongside me today is guest caster Fish.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, man. The last game was super crazy. This is game 2 of A-97 versus 489, a clash between the two between the international server versus the last Chinese team standing in the competition, and they're battling it out to move it on to the semifinals, taking the next step to be the global champions. And if you guys weren't able to watch last game, we definitely suggest that you watch it back after the stream. 489 was able to squeak out a win, as A-97 was not able to capture the last arc. They were so close, but the master strategy skill did not carry the arc carrier. So that was actually the difference between the win and the loss in that game. Yeah, so Fish, what do you think of this matchup, and how do you think A-97 should come back, and I guess how will they strike back against 489 here?
I mean, last match, it was insane. It was very intense, of course. We seen probably the most unluckiest moment in any South League match ever recorded, basically. And I think, first of all, of course, A-97 needs to keep the morale up now. Such a loss, of course, it hurts a lot. Like, you see the score, you would have won by 180 or 170 points, basically, if the arc succeeded.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it hurts, of course. Like, you feel bad after such a loss, but you need to keep the mentality up now. And, I mean, we saw that A-97 definitely can win this. I mean, if this arc would have succeeded, this would have been a win for A-97. So this matchup is insanely close between both teams. We have two extremely good teams, both in probably the prime of their life, basically, right now. 489 is amazing. You see, they practice so much. They can probably take on any team right now as well. You see A-97 amazing in general. Also, the last arc was also amazing from them. Sadly, it didn't work out, yeah. I mean, we can't say anything else, and it was extremely unlucky. And I guess we're going to see amazing match again. Probably the building game is going to be a little bit in advantage for 489 again. But then also we're going to see once again A-97 with a lot of provisioning at the end. I think last match it was 4.7k or 4.8k. In the first match they had, it was around 5k, and the second match it was around 5k. So yeah, this could also then outbalance it at the end again.
Yeah, the last game was insane. And one of the things that we were questioning was 489's decision to capture the arc in the first place, because the reason why that last arc even spawned was because 489 captured the arc before that 2 minutes too early. But it gave us one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best Arc of Osiris moments this Grand Prix, where
in history.
That was just such an unfortunate way to lose, but such a fortunate way to win for 489. So I guess predictions for you in this game, like where would you, if you were a betting man, where would you go for this game, 489 or A-97?
I mean, if I would have to bet right now on either team, I would bet on A-97, simply because, okay, yeah, they lost the match, but it was so unlucky. It was unbelievable. So I would still say that A-97 definitely can take this. And I mean, also for the best of 3, it would be amazing to see then a third match between both teams. And losing 0-2 after such a match right now, it would hurt a lot. I don't want to wish that to anyone. Yeah,
for sure. Having a third match between these two teams, as we said, this is the Grand Prix. So the teams here are the Osiris League Realm winners from the last 2 seasons from both the Chinese server and the international server, the first event of its kind where we were able to combine both servers, as well as 4 teams, 2 teams per server from the sign-up stage of the Grand Prix. So the quality of these matches are just unparalleled, unmatched, because this is the best of the best from the Chinese server, A-97, and the best of the best from the international server, which is 489, as well as 60GT and 93T on the other side of the bracket, which is also currently streaming, where Chiskel and Ruz are streaming that side. So it's going to be such an interesting match that we get to spectate yet again here as we start to go in game.
I mean, now this match is basically do or die for exactly like this last arc for A-97. So I personally hope that we can see some new strategies, or like some different strategies that we did not seen before. Also, I mean, we saw the Chinese server, it has so much innovations. You see so many plays that you have never seen from the international server before. Meanwhile, the international server is playing very safe. So I personally hope from this match to see some new skills once again popping up.
Yeah, I mean, we saw hard push, which we rarely have seen. We saw some. It was the same skills, but it was different timers where usually you save all your skill points for mid, but we saw, you know, some dust up used, some total vision used during the structure phase of things. So we'll definitely have to see how A-97 responds, because honestly, last game went to plan. It's just that they weren't able to capture the arc.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to talk about this last match. Like, you can't really say this one. I mean, obviously 489 won, but it was so unbelievably close, and with this ending, both teams are just unbelievably good right now.
Yeah, it's just going to be such a close match between these two teams. And all we could hope for is a match like last match where it literally comes down to the last 10 seconds of that arc not being able to get captured. As we have a minute left here, do you expect to see a change for the openings?
For the openings, I think that A-97 is going to look very good again. I mean, the openings from A-97 are simply, in my opinion personally, from what I've seen in the Grand Prix, the best team till now. They are very dominant, very quickly. I didn't see any team that was as quick as A-97 in the entire Grand Prix. So I think that's going to be one factor again. At the same time, 489 is also going to try to pressure some structures, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I would definitely say that A-97 had quite an advantage in that opening, although 489 was able to stabilize pretty early, but they were able to capture the Desert Altar and get first occupation points there, so they came out with an overall 750 extra points, denying 750 extra points, so 1.5k point differential in that opening.
I think it was actually 3 structures, right? It was like one of the enemy and also then the other 2 at the end, basically.
Yeah, but for the opening, that was the point differential for that side of things. As the gates finally have gone down, as we see the sentry placed by... It is the same sentry placement.
It's the same. It's
from
exactly
489.
Yeah, I don't think we have a sentry yet from A-97.
So it's really interesting because they played back-to-back games. I wonder if they're going to respond with... yeah, they responded with a sentry to see this sentry. Wow, okay. So they have eyes on the sentry. They will probably send a march to kill it so that they don't provide too much information.
I mean, they will kill it very quickly. Potentially also with the obelisk march.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about playing a back-to-back best of 3 is all the learnings from the last match. Everything that you saw is so fresh that it's like, yeah, they placed a sentry here literally an hour ago. Let's go ahead and place a sentry there as well, or 2 hours ago rather. As the first obelisk capture for A-97, followed up by first obelisk capture for 489. So mirrored timers here. And look at that. Wow. A-97, I'm loving this change where their outer lane marches are avoiding the sentry altogether. Yeah. They're going south of their obelisk, making sure that 489 don't have any information as to how many marches are going in this outer lane. And this is all T1 cavalry marches.
Also all CC. That's if you look at the commander one time. So what I could imagine here is also obelisk play actually. Or I mean, I don't know what else you would want to do with like so much tier 1. Or maybe not taking the obelisk, but at least in terms of like
denying teleports. Yeah, but that's a lot of... I think this is too much resources allocated to just denying teleport spots. I think they're probably planning to contest the obelisk in one way or another.
I mean, it depends. Like, if you can deny so many TP spots, basically, you can also deny marches of them, basically, going back to the structures again.
That's true. But you're essentially sacking any pressure on the DA, as well as potentially sacrificing your Sky Altar first capture. with this many marches, right? So we'll have to see what happens. But this is like
what?
sneaky tactics.
Okay, that's
Oh
completely
my
new.
gosh!
Okay,
Sneaky tactics.
I understand what they're doing. They're having all those marches.
Oh, they
For
can't see the
can't attack him.
marches.
And
Oh!
A97 is not even gonna attack the obelisk. 489 now thinks that they're gonna attack the obelisk. What A97 is gonna do, they're gonna place the marches in a perfect constellation, so no
they
one
can't
of 489 can
teleport.
TP. Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so the entire bottom lane will be extremely weakened. And this, I'm not sure how long Sneaky Tactics, I think 3 minutes. For the next, okay, now of course they used it already, but for the next 2 minutes, basically, there's not a single TP gonna happen potentially, at least not in the front spots.
This is game changing. What a strategy. They were like, wait, why can't we teleport? Why can't we teleport? There's a ton of marches used by just standing right under you. You just can't see them. They're invisible. Oh my goodness.
What A97 needs to do now is basically get every TP spot blocked. There would be one right now on the left side. A97 will probably adjust it, and there was actually one mistake happening. The one guy attacked accidentally and lost his invisibility buff.
Uh-oh.
But in general, that's a great play for sure.
Yeah.
They need to spread a little bit more the marches out on the left side, but beside that, amazing. Okay, but let's go back into the structures.
I never thought that I would be staring at an obelisk as desert altars are about to open, but we are out here staring at this obelisk where there's a ton of T1 marches blocking teleport spots, so 489 can't teleport onto this obelisk. They're like, wait, why can't we teleport? A97 covered every single teleport spot,
Yes,
except for
it's perfection. That's actually perfection. Okay, there's one TP spot. This one guy is the luckiest guy of the
okay,
day.
we got one teleport spot from 489.
This
Wow.
is an extremely smart strategy, but still you use 4 coins for it basically, which you shouldn't forget. But yeah, there's no much gonna come back for the Desert Altar, so the Desert Altar is gonna go to A97, potentially then also the Shrine of Life after. Yeah, it's a great play. It's really a great play. And soon you also need to move marches back to the obelisk to clear those tier 1 marches.
That is true.
Yeah,
I think
last
the
for like
biggest
20
spit in
more
the
seconds.
face would be a rally to the obelisk, and then they take the obelisk for 2 minutes.
It would be insane, yeah.
But we are talking about that sneaky tactics play, which is really cool. But it did come at a cost with the Sky Altar. There isn't enough marches for A97 to cover
There's
that
actually
Sky
also a
Altar.
rally coming. There's a rally coming from A97 against the obelisk, by the way, which they will
this
probably
is
also
gonna
then
be
use to
huge.
make more marches.
This is gonna be huge. If they take this obelisk, oh, there you go. The teleports are now coming through. The marches are now visible. So because the marches are now visible, they could see the gaps in the teleport space. So interesting. But it is 4 altars to none.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
You-
actually
so-
surprised that 489 was able to clear him that well, actually. Because 489 did not have any marches recall, basically.
Yeah, yeah. But this is like around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 marches worth of people dedicated to blocking TP space. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some marches that were taken from the top lane as well, because you know there's only 30 people in an arc match. If there's 18 marches, maybe like 3-4 people from this top lane, which is why the structures are so lopsided right now. A97, they have to recover here.
They definitely had people from the Shrine of Life on the top side going there to the obelisk. Like at the Shrine of Life there were barely marches before. But I'm surprised that still they couldn't capture those Desert Altar.
Yeah.
On both sides also, because they had more people on the 489 Desert Altar as well first.
So 489, even though they don't have the teleport space, they were able to recapture the Sky Altar. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. as the obelisk. It looks like the T1s are now swarming down the obelisk.
Yeah, they're gonna try to kill off themselves soon.
Wait, if they actually take this off, oh,
That would be.
they took it. Oh, that's another 2 minutes of not being able to teleport for 489. And there's also a garrison in there.
They have the 8 people TP'd already, so
That is true. But and the teleport spots are they're kind of good as well. Like they got the left side for their shrine. But that at least denies the next couple of teleports for a couple minutes. But yeah, it's not too impactful. Look at the points per minute. Oh my goodness. The first occupation points are definitely lopsided, but the points per minute as well, 240 to 480 in favor of 489. I like the play, but I feel like you have to sacrifice too much for that much allocation of marches, you know what I mean?
no, of course. I mean, they sacrifice for sure many structure points, so they need this first arc for sure to balance it out now. At the same moment, you have now less skill points. That's obvious. You use the skill for 4 skill points. 4 skill points is a lot, and you're definitely gonna lack that now.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a big play. We'll have to see what happens with this mid fight, as there are 3 minutes left until Arc spawns. It looks like there's an early fight mid here, where there are some A-97 marches engaging early, even though 489 have the numbers.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like that play, that play works
does it a
out.
lot.
Yeah,
With, like,
A-97
the early
adjusted a lot
engages.
for sure.
No, I mean like the early engages in the middle. That's like something that A-97 did also in the past a lot of times already. And I'm never like a huge fan of it, because you send like one march by one basically into the enemy and get cleared very quickly with that as well.
Yeah, so they're murder balled up while you are not murder balled. It's a tough situation for sure. Two minutes left until Arc spawns. We have a Sky. The thing is, like, that play works out if you're able to capture the structures in the bottom lane, and as a result, but because they weren't able to, it kind of like messes things up for them, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they should have taken the altar, the desert altar on the bottom lane. They somehow lost it. I did not directly see how they lost it, but I guess simply they got cleared, which is a surprise. But hopefully they get this arc then to balance out the point difference again.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I mean, they have a lot in the middle right now, and 489 does not really look like moving right now to the middle. So this should definitely go for A-97.
It's like a complete opposite of what happened first game, where it was structure focus, and then now it's mid focus. I'm kind of curious as to why. I mean, A-97 they did lose, but I felt like their strategy last game was actually a winning strategy. But the points per minute, 710 to 180.
It's a lot for
In
the beginning.
4 minutes, you essentially score an arc difference between your opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very painful. I mean, A-97 needs to basically get all of the arcs now. Or not all of the arcs, but at least also the second arc directly.
Yeah, so
And
4k
there you
point
have again the
differential
problem.
already made.
I mean, yeah, and then you have the skill problem now, because A-97 used so many skills now in the early game. 489 did not use any skill except Dust Up in the early game. So the second arc is very unlikely, in my opinion, for A-97 to take, if 489 actually aims for it.
So yeah, 489 heavily in the lead here. What do you do if you're A-97? Do you insta capture this arc and just try to go arc focus from this point? You definitely have to recapture your altars, but these altars,
Yeah, it's difficult. Like, you don't really want to insta-capture the arc because you know you're gonna lose it. You know that you use way more skill points than the enemy.
That's true.
So you know that like you're not gonna get the arc immediately. So what you would maybe try to do now is to get the arc to your obelisk, get it safe, wait till the last moment even, get your skill points back up, force the enemy to use skills basically, because the enemy will be at the full skill bar, and then go for another arc. Because if A-97 goes now directly for another arc, A-97 is gonna lose the arc. They need the structure advantage now in the next minutes. They need to secure their own structures and get enemy altars.
As I flash the gift code here, the gift code for today's match. Wow, we've been casting 2 games in a row here, but gift code for this match 2023 RoK 777. So 2023 RoK 777. We'll leave that up for a little bit here. The 4 altar hold by
It's still, yeah.
4A9 is just showing that altars at the end of the day are so important, even if you capture these arcs.
Highly painful. Highly painful. Like,
A97 finally able to recapture. I feel like for the first time this game, their Sky Altar. Desert Altar is still heavily in contention, but I think 489 with their numbers should be able to hold this, especially with the reinforcements coming on the side. One thing I will say, 489 for these outer structures, they just send double C, Julius Caesar, and run straight for the altar. You know what I mean? They go for the movement speed just to be able to fill these structures as fast as possible.
I mean, that's smart. That's like what you should do also. If you just want to refill your structures, you use as much movement speed as you can to get the marches there.
Yeah, I usually see it for home structures, but for your opponent's Desert Altar running out with a double C Julius Caesar, but the best trades that you can get from a swarm is if you fill the structure. Like if you're on the open field, I mean it helps, but the best thing you can do, the most effective thing you could do is fill with a march. As we start to see this Desert Altar getting pretty low, the rally is also getting low from A97's side.
And what's also painful, like what once again we see, which is, I didn't see this from both teams before, lack of garrisons at some structures. Like you see the enemy, the Shrine of War of A97 right now is gonna get taken because no garrison switch, and there was actually garrison inside. And these are like unusual mistakes that we usually did not see from those 2 teams actually.
Maybe they're like still recovering from the emotional loss of last game. Where they were literally they did everything right for that last last skill, except it just didn't carry the arc carrier. But hopefully they recompose themselves soon, because this point differential is just continuing to grow. About 6.4k points between the 2 teams. It's not insurmountable, but it's such a huge lead to start off the game here.
It's like a 4k lead right now for 489. It's definitely a very solid and comfortable lead, of course. Plus you also have the skill point advantage.
Pretty interesting that they march swapped with, because they took it with the T1, so they swapped it with the T5 march. Interesting.
Yep.
So the structures are now finally 20 minutes into the game. They are now stable. It is now even in terms of structures. Although the points per minute is still in favor of 489, because these structures still have to capture. They still have to flip. So a minute before these structures actually start creating points for A97. What's the play now? Is it just like hold this arc, play for next arc, and then try to win off provisions while holding your structures? Is that like the game plan?
I mean, you need to get a building advantage, of course, which A97 is not doing right now. They lost their Sky Altar again. And you potentially, for whatever you plan, you need the skill points, of course, in the middle. And you know that the enemy got more skill points, so you need to wait and keep the arc for some time until you have enough skill points.
Yeah, that is a pretty daunting task right there. And as you said, like, you have to be the aggressor if you're down on these structures. You can't be the one having your altars flip. You could maybe sacrifice a shrine here and there. Ideally, you would want all of your structures, your home structures, to be in your control, especially when you're trying to mount a comeback. But having the sky altar flip and then having the dominance that 489 has in this outer lane, it's looking pretty dicey. I hate to say it.
It's looking pretty in favor of 489 right now, yeah, we have to definitely say that.
But we'll have to see how A-97 responds. They do still have sneaky tactics. They might be able to sneaky tactics something in the upcoming...
You could go... I mean, you could go for a normal arc, which you try to win by a murder ball fight, of course, first. And then after that, go for another arc, which you win then by sneaky tactics and the teleportation skill, for example. Which we've seen GY16 try, and which is also, in my opinion, a very good strategy, as long as it works out, of course. I don't think that sneaky tactics and teleportation skill could be something good for the next arc already. But we see a complete different strategy actually being used with both teams.
Total vision now. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about is usually you save these skill points for these mid fights. Usually you save these skill points for that impact for these arcs. These teams have been using them for the structure phase rather of these matches.
I mean, 489 basically just needs respawn right now. Like you see, like the total vision is being popped by A-97, okay. 489 also goes for the total vision, because they know, okay, they use the skill points, we can use them now on the lane as well. A-97 needs to be the one doing the plays. I don't know if his skill right now on the laning phase is that smart right now. Because you need to get the skill, the point difference up.
Yeah, that's true. You need to, because you use the more heavy point skill early, ideally to even things out in the future, when your opponent uses a skill, you kind of use a skill of less value, or you don't use a skill at all, so that you could kind of make up that difference.
Yeah, I mean, A-97 needs arcs for sure. A-97 needs to take the next two arcs. That's the only way how to win the game for them.
As they are still holding on to this arc. I know, Fish, this your prediction, the final stand final stand for the Chinese server here.
It's still definitely not GG yet. It's a 4k point difference, which can be still outbalanced.
That could be outbalanced with provisions, as we've been seeing. They get 5k from provisions.
Yeah, you should definitely always calculate 5k on top for A-97. So if we would calculate that right now on top of it, A-97 would still look good. So that's why I mean we can't say GG yet, definitely not. This game is far from being over right now, but still 489 got the lead.
Dust up used by A-97. Okay, so they're like, you know, Fish, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to go full structure focus. Whenever we contest a structure, we're just going to use our skills. Which is an interesting strategy.
I mean, A-97 is playing right now also with their knowledge of that they are going to get more skill points per minute, basically.
Oh, because they're losing. True.
Because they're losing in points. So they are going for more skills now. It also depends on what they're planning for the mid fight. I mean, we don't know if they have maybe skills for the mid fight, or if they only took skills to potentially steal arcs or teleport arcs or whatever. We don't know yet.
Sneaky tactics, one of those skills that could. Because last game we saw 489, they would take the arc and then they would rotate their marches outside or away from the arc. So with sneaky tactics in play, there might be a situation where you can, you know, surprise the arc carrier and then just try to gain points from capturing structures such as the Desert Altar, which they just did, such as the Sky Altar, which they are currently rallying, and the Shrine of War also being contested by by A-97 here. We have 4 minutes 40 seconds until the arc has to be captured here.
I mean, what I guess potentially could happen is, A-97 going for a murder ball fight for the next arc and for the arc after for a teleport skill. And in this way it would become very close again.
But as you're saying though, if you go for a murder ball fight down in points, isn't that like kind of a bad thing to do? Because
No, I mean, you have no other option, because, in my opinion,
That's true.
then, because don't want to use this teleport play, for example, for the second arc already, if you know that the third arc is going to give you, again, more points.
that is true.
So, of course, with like such a play, you then aim for the biggest arc, basically, that you can get, instead of using it for arc with less point gain. Especially when you're behind in points.
Desert Altar getting swarmed down by 489. But isn't there a world where 489 could hold the second arc to where there might not even be a third arc?
I mean, we're gonna be at minute 29 when the arc is being captured, most likely.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have around 8 minutes to the arc is spawning, 15 minutes potentially for holding. It would be possible. It could become a 2-arc game, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because A-97 captured the first arc, or they have control of the first arc. But they held it till the end, and then if 489 does the same thing, then there won't be a third arc to steal, which is an interesting proposition here. The third arc for A-97 is a provisioning game, because the provisioning game has been really strong throughout the Grand Prix.
Yeah, we can expect around 4.5 to 5k from A-97 for this game. I don't think that we will expect any provisioning from 489. I don't think they're provisioning at all. They want every match on the structures. That's also why their structure game is looking so strong in general.
True. As
But
I
right
flash
now-
up the code yet again. Yeah?
Yeah, right now, A-97 is doing a pretty good job again in the structure finally. And actually in the last 2-3 minutes also been capturing more, most times. Getting the Sky Altar on the top, being in a point advantage again per minute.
Yeah, they're the points per minute. A-97, this is exactly what they have to do. They have to contest opponents' structures while holding their own. They are currently down like 7-ish K, but then they still have the arc as well, so around 5k. So we'll have to see how they respond with the mid fights.
It's a 5k difference, so this game is definitely far from being over still.
Yep.
Always count vision, always count that on top as well.
But I would definitely say then the next arc is probably going to be a make or break for both teams. Because if you have that
yes,
last arc,
yes.
and then you could control if there's going to be another arc that spawns, that makes that second arc so much more important, because you're kind of making every point more valuable. You know what I mean? If there's more arcs, that means there's more points on the board, meaning that points are less and less valuable because there's more of them. But if you hold that arc and then make it so that you have a tempo advantage, then it's going to be really tough for the opponent team. So I actually think the game will come down to this next arc. As the arc was captured, we can see the true point differential currently is around 4.4k.
Yeah, 4.4k. We will potentially see soon again a little advantage for A-97, I guess, depending on the altar on top.
Yeah, I think this altar should be fine.
Yeah, it should be fine. Should be alright.
489 is trickling in with the reinforcements here.
Yeah, it's all gonna balance out again. Once again, you have one outpost for A-97. And now you have the next arc in 7 minutes, and that is simply a do or die for A-97. Like, A-97 needs to capture the second arc.
Yeah, they need to capture the second arc, and more importantly, deny the arc from 489. If 489 takes this arc, then the game will look like it was a stomp. But if they're able to recapture this arc and kind of even things out without the provisions coming home, that'll be huge for them.
I mean, what A-97 could do is, if they have enough skill points now, which they might have, because they simply gain more skill points per minute than 489, they could go for the sneaky tactics and master strategy combination. But at the same moment, then you have to ask yourself, what about the third arc? What are you gonna use there? Because then 489 is gonna be in a skill point advantage again.
Maybe it's one of those things where you sneaky tactics, capture the arc, but you hold the arc after you master strategies it, instead of just insta-capping.
You could do it. I mean, you could do it like, we have a 3.5k point arc basically happening. So this would be again 16k to 17k match right now. Yeah, I mean, would also work potentially.
Like, I'm loving the strategies that the Chinese teams are bringing into the table. Sneaky tactics, level 1 into denying teleport spots is so innovative. As you see, mystical formation actually used by A-97. Wow, okay. So they're going heavy on this desert altar push with mystical formations used on the rally as well as the surrounding marches here. But that rally is getting swarmed down pretty fast.
We're very unlikely then to see a teleport skill at this arc already.
Yeah, not enough points, right? So.
And now the question is also, what skill is A-97 gonna have for the mid-fight? Because, I mean, we saw all of A-97's skills already now in the match, so we can talk about it. You just used the mystical formation. You have sneaky tactics, okay. You have the teleport skill, okay. But the sneaky tactics and the teleport skill are both not really murderable fight skills.
That's true.
And what do you have then? You have Dust Up and you have Total Vision. So basically you need to use Total Vision and Dust Up to potentially face it to the death or Heaven's Grace or whatever 489 has.
The crazy thing is they used mystical formations and they still weren't able to capture the structure. And it wasn't even close. Like 489's presence around that desert altar was huge. So yeah, they used 3 skill points, but it didn't really pay off for them, as the mid rotation's now starting from 489, and as you said, they will have that skill advantage.
Yeah, in 489, if 489 gets this arc and carries it all the time, I don't see this game being one for A-97 anymore. Because in the structures, 489 will be in a small advantage all the time, potentially.
Yeah.
And then the arc difference makes it too big.
The arc difference will make it too big. So this is going to be a do or die for A-97 here. Let's see what they plan to do. Maybe instead of just the teleport, it's just sneaky tactics into run for your life, because we haven't seen 489 like a straight up murder ball fight. 489 has been dominating A-97, and although A-97 has been going structure focus, especially last game, that doesn't really bode well for them, that they haven't been able to win a single murder ball fight that 489 opted into. They were able to win the last mid fight, but I would say that 489 opted into the structures for the 4 altars compared to A-97 that full sent mid in that situation.
I mean, we also see right now A-97 still bringing a lot of marches. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, they bring a lot of marches to the Desert Altar, they bring a lot of marches to the enemy Shrine of Life, and I'm not a fan of this play at all right now. Like, bringing so much to structures basically shows that you're about to give up the arc.
Yeah, that's...
They're not gonna
because
get the Desert Altar, they have too many marches of 489 nearby.
the
Shrine
Desert
of Life
Altar...
is also...
The Desert Altar was taken by 489 as well. That is so
It's-
detrimental. A-97 going structure game, but losing their own structures is not a good sign for them. Dust up used by 489. Dust up in response by A-97. But their units are just getting swarmed down.
Yeah, you see many A-97 marches just being picked up right now without really defending themselves. I'm really not sure what A-97 is trying there right now.
And using
this
total vision as well.
Also, it shows
Wow.
they're not gonna go for teleport skill. And then
they're
what
not going,
are you
they're not
exactly
going for
gonna do in the
teleport.
middle?
They're not going for sneaky tactics. So they didn't go middle, but they're losing structures. Although Desert Altar does look like it might go in their favor. Although 489 with the double C marches just sprinting from their cities to fill this structure. Will they be able to hold? Oh, the last second fill.
Yeah, this will be held by 489 most likely.
Wow,
another
the
CC
Desert
coming.
Altar of 489.
Very good, very good.
This is...
I mean, that's how you exactly want to play. You know, that's why you're practicing so much, like 489 did. Like 489 practiced the hell out of this Grand Prix, basically. Every day potentially practice. And then you know that your players know, okay, now I need to select my CC, now I need to run to this structure. The players know exactly what they want, what they have to do. And have such high quality, and that's only what you can achieve by a lot of practice.
I think that's great, because especially if Grand Prix Osiris League wants to be esport like, you need teams that take it seriously. And 489, as you said, practicing super hard, making it so that they play to the best of their abilities. And this is exactly a perfect situation where you hold a structure by the skin of your teeth, right? So that means that you sent just the right amount of marches to that structure. Although I don't know what happened to this mid presence that we saw.
It's a go and come back, basically. I mean, both have few marches there. It will likely still go for 489.
That's true. They have some marches rotating back from the altar. But yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
you
really
need a good arc capture one time, and 489 seems to be getting the next capture as well on the bottom side. I think, yeah, that's gonna go to 489 again, I guess.
Yeah, 489. .489 had a pretty close game against 93T in the grand finals. Looking for a potential rematch, or at least a match against 60GT. The winner of 60GT versus 93T will be versing the winner of this series. .489 just holding 3 altars, check, while also winning mid fight.
You can't have both happening. Like, either, like, you need one of them.
You need to trade 100%.
Yeah, it can't happen that you lose both your structures and the mid fight.
That's one of the things that the best of the best ARC teams do, where in 93T's case, you rarely see them lose both things at the same time. There's always some sort of a trade, even if the trade's not even for them. At least if they lose mid, they hold structures for like 2 minutes, or they're able to trade this, they're able to trade that. But this match, it feels like 489 from the get-go, even with the teleport disruption, have been in control.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning we saw this play from A-97, which was, in my opinion, very good. You blocked all of the TP space for 2 minutes straight, but what happened after was not too well done by A-97. Like, you should have not lost the structures there as well. And now
Yeah.
you will definitely lose this arc. Like, the recall time for 489 is way too short. And unless you have now a TP skill suddenly and can get so many marches and TP this arc out, you're definitely not gonna take this arc home.
A-97 capturing the arc. That's the first step. Bringing it one step closer to their side, but as you said, the reinforcement time. The sad face march takes like 40 seconds to go from the arc to A97 city.
Oh, the Archer is not really getting attacked right now. Now it's done. That was a red march for a lot of seconds.
Interesting.
I mean, if maybe A97 can delay this right now so long until they have a TP skill,
Imagine.
It would
That's
be
the play,
crazy.
just
Like, this
delay.
would,
I mean, their game rides on this arc. So
yeah, if they don't get this arc, this is GG for sure. You would have too big of a difference, then you have a difference of almost 10k, and you can't
Yeah.
make this up even with provisioning.
unless you're like the best provisioners in the world, that you double your own provision.
I mean,
What's the
best
maximum? What's the maximum amount of provisions you've seen in a match?
I mean, I can even tell you exactly. Who
Oh,
it's-
master strategies! Master strategies!
They're bringing marches. They're not. Okay.
They're bringing marches to the arc.
Okay. I'm not.
Okay, I expect a split where we'll see some marches go to the outpost, some marches go to the arc. Let's see. They're
don't
like,
know.
screw using master strategies to get the arc. It
That's
didn't work
not-
out.
that's
We're doing
not
the
even 30
opposite.
That's not even 30 marches. That was not well done. That's. I mean, that's simply how it has to be said. That was really not well done. I think it would have been a better play if you take the risk, potentially teleport the arc out with a master strategy, take the coin flip, then use master strategies just to get like 10 marches there. Like, this really did not make the difference right now.
Got sad faced. They used to the death and it's over.
This,
Oh
this
my
was
goodness.
definitely not the play.
Yeah, I guess the play would be like I said it as a joke, but maybe there is some lack of trust in the teleportation skill to bring an arc now after you do it so perfectly last match. It's like, yeah, whatever. We're not even gonna do. We're just gonna send marches this time because we know the marches get sent. But yeah, A97, that was their trump card. And 489 with the perfect response, just to the deathing the murder ball on top of it, wiping that murder ball that was teleported in. I'm not too sure what you can do now at this point.
Now, I mean, what do you want to do now? You don't have a skill anymore because you just used it in not the best fashion. It was simply not good. You don't have any skills left. You can only basically walk to the arc. You can only bring transport rallies maybe. You can maybe try to deny the arc, but you have 15 minutes left. Like, there's no way that 489 is not going to capture this arc in 15 minutes if the walk time is like 2 minutes.
Yeah. And the thing that's crazy is 489 has been gaining their advantage because of the structure game.
Yeah,
It's about like a 6k point differential. Even with the 5k expected provisioning score, they would still be down by around 1,000 points.
yeah.
So it has to come down to a capture of the arc, not even a denial of the arc. Although that double C march walked quite a while.
Yeah, but all that is right now not being able to make the difference.
As I flash up the code yet again, the gift code for today's match: 2023 RoK 777 or 2023 RoK 777. So be sure to submit that code so that you can get some extra goodies from in game. Yeah, this arc pull, double C's are so speedy. What's the fastest march in the game? Is it double C Honda? Double C.
It could be double C Honda.
Oh,
I mean, you see that also used a lot by A-97 right now. I don't know what to say because it's obvious what's gonna happen. It's really obvious what's gonna happen, and I don't see a single way how they can stop it from happening.
as casters, we have to keep this interesting. Look at the arc carrier, Julius Caesar.
I mean, you're gonna have now
Caesar
point
walking
difference
back.
of around around 10k points.
Yeah.
Let's calculate in 5k for provision. Okay, amazing provision. That's still a 5k point difference. You're not gonna have another arc because 489. What they're gonna do is just hold this arc now till the end. Obviously, the arc is already between the cities. There's nothing you can do anymore. And unless A-97 is suddenly being able to step up their building game a lot, take all the structures for a few minutes, it's very difficult for A-97 to do something so.
We have the Shrine of Life rather, being captured by 489. Sky Altar in response being contested. This desert altar, I feel like has been getting swarmed the whole match. Has barely fallen.
489 is like showing extremely perfect structure game today.
And that's that practice. We're gonna see.
That's a practice. That's hard work. That's simply hard work. Like you can't get that other than simply by practicing a lot. That's the same thing like 93T, for example. They're also this great in the structure game. 93T and 489 potentially in this competition are the two best structure game teams of all. Also, no matter which server, both teams are on the top of the top basically. And what you see at the Desert Altar is exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is the top structure game. Reinforcing always in the last second. You think it's gonna fall, and then suddenly it doesn't fall.
Did you cast a curse, did it?
Now we cast a curse, of course. But, I mean, we've seen enough of it, of course. 489 is amazing at the structure game, and they've proven it today many
So
times.
funny. The one time that we're praising this structure game, structure falls. Although they're gonna recapture it right away, though, so... You know,
the one time that the structure falls exactly when we're praising the structure game of 489.
Caster curse, dude. That's okay though. But with, you know what? Let's keep caster cursing. They will not be able to capture this arc. Nah. 489 looking really dominant. What are your thoughts of? Like, let's think of macro level here. What are your thoughts of Osiris League as a potential esport? That's what they said in Germany, apparently, in Köln. Is that how you say that? Cologne?
You're close with Cologne, yeah. In English, Cologne, in German, Köln.
I tried.
You tried. You
I
know.
tried. But what they said that they were potentially thinking about, you know, making Osiris League like an esport. Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, in general, it's a good idea. What I personally would like to see then is even more skills in general. Like, you have already a lot of skills. But I think especially the Chinese teams are showing that you can do so much with the skills. And okay, yeah, the Chinese teams are potentially now, let's talk about it this way, most likely not gonna go into the final now. But still, they had so much innovations, and also the first match, 489 against A-97 that we've seen today, which A-97 would have won if it wasn't that unlucky, also showed those innovations and how innovative the Chinese servers in general. And so I would personally love to see way more skills in the game, also more TP skills in general. I think especially those plays make the game so fun to watch.
Yeah, master strategies have been one of the best changes.
Yeah, master strategies are also sneaky tactics. Like, sneaky tactics is also so much fun to watch, simply. And I personally prefer to watch the Chinese teams play than the international teams. So, of course, international teams like, okay, 489 and 93T GT are potentially better. I mean, I don't know how 93T against GT is looking right now, but yeah. But still, in terms of like how fun it is to watch, I love to watch the Chinese teams because of so many different skills that they use. You never know what skills are they going to use, and that's why I would love to see more skills in the game as well.
More skills for an esports. And yeah, I think any form of skill expression, making it... The Fog of War definitely changed things, in my opinion, as they have captured the arc. And yes, that is going to be the final arc for the game. So there is an 8...
Exactly, yeah, genau. Yeah.
An 8k, 8.5k point differential.
Yep. You have an 9k, yeah, 8.4k. I mean, the thing is, it's also, we can't calculate 5k provision now on top because some of the provisioners probably went home already multiple times. Maybe we can calculate a 2 or 3k more on top. So you would have like 27.
They already have 2k. They already have a 2k provision score for.
Yeah, and also you have the Alta right now taken again by 489. And especially in this game right now, 489 at the structures is simply a beast, both in the defense and in the offense. And yeah, A-97 definitely looks worse than in the first game.
489 are doing this in the midst of a really big KVK in the zone 5 against 1846.
Yeah, it's impressive for sure.
I think that really sets a precedent of like, hey, like, you could take both KVK and Grand Prix seriously at the same time, right?
Of course. I mean, you can always take both serious. Like, also, I mean, I can talk, for example, about GT. GT won Osiris League when we were in the 3 against 1 KVK that we had. Or also in our KVK against 1v last season, we also won Osiris League doing the KVK.
And 2268, yeah, true.
Yeah, and 2268, shout out there. If you want, you can, let's say it this way. If you don't want, you don't. Sadly, but I mean, if you want, you can, and I think that's what some teams always prove, and shout out to those teams for sure.
It's gonna be an interesting match. So, if we were to... Do you think the... Like, 489, they're looking pretty dominant here. So we could kind of look forward to the finals. From the winner of 93T and 60GT, do you think 489 is still the underdog against them, or with the amount of practice?
There's no underdog in the game anymore. I mean,
I feel like 489, because they're not a brand name that people know. I mean, people know 2489, but the team 489 is kind of like a new entity as of this season, because they have some members from Blackjack, from 1021, and not too many people know them because 1v would beat them in Realm of Horus, but they would always make it to the semifinals, the finals.
They also beat 1v back then with Blackjack one time in a match. I think the series ended 2-1.
Oh, really?
489 is... I mean, let's talk about the players now of the team. They have great players. They have a long Osiris history. They are underestimated. I think also I personally underestimated them a lot at the beginning. They are for sure a top team right now. They are not the underdog in the final. No way. Like, if you can beat A-97 in this way, you're never ever the underdog.
And like, for context, A-97 is the grand finals champion of the Chinese server. So you could say they're what the best Chinese team
one of the best here. Let's say
One of the best.
here.
Okay, one of the best.
Being the champion, of course, doesn't mean that you're always the best one at the current time, because after all the practice they do. But they 466S, GY16, those teams are the best for sure. But I mean, yeah, of course, they are the champion. 489 beat them, and 489 is showing an incredible showing, and they're definitely not the underdog for the next match. Like, it's gonna be very balanced. We're either gonna see, of course, 489 against 93T. 93T is a very, very structure-focused team. From what I've seen, very good structure game. Or 489 against GT, and GT is more of an arc-focused team, which is very dominant at the arcs usually. I mean, I can ask one time the other cast how's it looking at them.
Yeah,
and either way, like, we're gonna have incredible final. Incredible, like, definitely
it's
very,
gonna
very
be
great final.
Top of the top finals. And I honestly like, I don't know about you, Fish, but
Yeah.
I like the grand finals and the Grand Prix where all the counts are the same, and it's this strategy of like, it's not really the best of the best accounts, but rather kind of like an even playing field. I think for if Osiris League was to make it an esport, then having an even playing field for at least the playoffs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see.
I mean, yeah, of course, it would be fun. I like it either way. I think in general, Osiris League is a great mode. I personally love to play it. I love to watch it. It's fantastic in my opinion. It's really fun, especially the Grand Prix. I think the Grand Prix was that much fun to watch, not just because it's the same accounts now, but also because the teams practiced this hard and wanted that badly.
Yeah,
basically.
they take it super seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And I mean, if the quality is like this, any Osiris League will be amazing to watch it. But of course, in Osiris League, you have many teams also that do not put that much effort in, and then the matches are more
just trying to get the
one-sided,
gold
of course.
heads. Yeah.
And just by the way, speaking, if you're watching this stream and not the other stream, at the other stream right now, it's looking 32.4k to 34k. It's completely close there, and no winner is yet decided between 93T and 60GT.
That's so funny because we have a 12-minute delay. So by the time that message comes out, it'll be 12 minutes later. It'll be like... That's funny. But yeah, go check out, or you could stay with us and watch 489 continue to win this arc match. I will say A-97 and the Chinese teams, I would love to see more modes where, I don't know what else you could integrate the Chinese server with the international server. I'm sure KVKs would be impossible because patches
KVKs,
release
yeah.
at different times.
Yeah. I mean, Osiris League is a great way, and if maybe you could combine both the servers for Osiris League in some way, it would be really fun to watch. I think still the average team in the Chinese server is probably better than the average team in the international server.
I'd
but
agree.
The top teams of the international server are definitely on the same level or higher right now than the Chinese server. I mean, that's without a doubt, because otherwise we would not see an international server against international server final.
Yeah. So shout out to the international servers for doing us proud. Because I remember there was like a lot of talk about how this tournament would be fully Chinese team favored, as I flashed the code one last time before the stream ends.
I thought so as well, personally, that like the Chinese teams will mostly dominate. I mean, they did have great performances, that's without a doubt. They are on the same height like the international teams. Yeah,
they did super well.
Great. And but still, the top teams of the international servers definitely showed that they put so much effort into it. That's what we can already say now. And yeah, but I mean, I wish we would have had a wildcard team, like a power team that would also win a match, but sadly we didn't see that, but maybe in the future. And here we go.
GG's!
489.
GG's indeed to 489. And that was a great attempt by A-97. This match wasn't the closest, but that first match was so close. Oh, that arc getting captured would have been the game changer. And
It hurts
maybe,
a little bit.
yeah, maybe
I
we
mean,
would have been seeing A-97 in that finals, but GG's to 489. They completely deserve it. All the practice
Amazing victory.
paid off. So
I mean,
yeah,
it
Fish, do you
hurts,
have any
of course.
final thoughts of
Yeah.
Osiris League?
I mean, it hurts, of course, for A-97 now to be 0-2 after such a first match, of course. But 489 definitely deserves this victory. They definitely deserve to go to a final. They're a great team. They're definitely not the underdog. 100% not. They are on the same level or even higher right now than the other teams. And they're really fantastic right now, and they did a great job. GG to them.
Alrighty, so that is it for us. GG's for 489, and best of luck to A97 for your future ventures. Be sure to subscribe to the official Rise of Kingdoms channel right here for more Osiris League Grand Prix content. We will have the finals later on, and we actually have the second game of 60GT versus 93T, I believe at 15:30 UTC, so you will not want to miss that. Also, Fish and I's channels are in the description below. Plotto Gaming and Fish RoK. Be sure to subscribe for more Rise of Kingdoms content there.